So there.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
Why do you keep saying let us know your thoughts?
Let me know your thoughts to me is a nice lead-in for So there. So there. Welcome to episode 52 of So
there. I'm Gary Doyle.
And I'm Tom Karamitis, and it feels like a year since we've done this. I know we had a few false starts. We had a few aborted podcast recording sessions, so that partially explains our delinquency.
I forgot. That's what happened. I forgot.
You forgot, and I had a Saturday where I was having a meltdown over how much money we were all losing in the stock market.
Yeah. And you look at it you look at your balance every 12 seconds. I've not looked at mine in 6 months.
I think you have
we're
a
little
different.
Outlook. We're a little different. I don't know if either one's the right extreme, but you know.
Yep, just how we're wired, I guess.
Yeah. So, how are you, Tom?
I'm good, Gary. How are you? You sound like you have a bit of a cold.
I do have a cold. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's kind of a cold. I don't have the COVID. I've taken 2 tests, but I do have a cold. It's gone from sneezing fits and runny nose and all that stuff the last couple of days. Now it's migrated to a very stuffed up nose, which maybe you can all hear, but like Nigel Tufnell, I am a professional and I'll rise above.
It actually increases your sexiness sound, I'd say.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm sure our audience recognizes that as well. Wow, Gary sounds a little sexier. Sexy time.
More alluring than ever.
Yeah, more alluring than ever, think our
if that's possible
7 listeners.
Well, one of the things we complained about last time was that we weren't getting any emails, and one of the things we were going to do, just in case we continue to not get any emails, is read some of the thousands of pieces of spam that flood our yahoo.com email box. But alas, not necessary. We did get some email over the last month and a half, and as we always promised, we were going to read a couple of them.
Yeah, so this first letter is from a listener named Craig, and this is about what we talked about a podcast or 2 back, which is the weird proclivities of certain people to when you're using a bathroom stall, shall we say, you're in the stall using it. Even though there might be 6 different stalls that are open in the line of stalls in the bathroom, some people will come and sit right next to you to do their business. Even though there's lots of other open stalls, it's just a thing. Some people, and we talked about that. So Craig, who's a colleague at work, wrote this and said, I got a good laugh out of this topic, as I completely agree that one should keep an open space between stalls when you can. It baffles me why anyone in their right mind would choose to be that much closer to the mayhem. Nothing more infuriating than someone sitting right next to you and unleashing the hounds with apparently no shame can completely ruin what should be a somewhat relaxing endeavor as you push out your toxins. I recall at a past agency, let's call it McCann, we were in a situation where we only had 2 stalls along with 2 urinals, if you're wondering. Suffice to say, for most sane and courteous humans, if you walked in and one of the stalls was taken, you would wait it out or go to another bathroom, but not, quote, Wayne. I'm assuming this is a assumed name. No siree, he'd sit down right next to you and let all hell break loose. I remember taking my place and then hearing someone come in and claim the throne right next to me. I knew it was Wayne by his size 12.5 brown hush puppies. It was infuriating, especially if you weren't done with your end of the business. Fortunately for my psyche, you could operate the lights to the bathroom on the way out, which would make the bathroom pitch black. I'm sure it took Wayne quite some time to blindly take care of his duties and walk, hands outstretched, to find the switch. A little revenge for sure. Of course, Wayne walked the halls trying to locate the shoes he must have noticed sitting next to him. Luckily, I noticed this and switched to the shoes in my workout bag. And yes, I learned to keep an extra pair of shoes in my office for these types of situations. This also led to an invention I'm sure would come in handy in these kind of situations and could be easily constructed with 2 pieces of wood or PVC. Fake legs, including shoes and pants. Very portable, and you could bring it to the bathroom with you, placing the, quote, fake shitter next to you, thus freeing up a space if you're on the outside. Or hell, make 2 pairs and surround you with this illusion. Anyway, great to stroll down memory lane with this much-needed topic of discussion. Best, Craig.
I love that. Craig educated me there. I mean, I'd never heard Unleash the Hounds. I'd never heard Push Out Toxins. I just always kind of fell back on Drop the Kids Off at the Pool.
Craig clearly has given a lot of thought to this, and good for him. And I dare I say perhaps a little traumatized by things.
I'll tell you, I like the fact that he had an extra pair of shoes at the office, because that could have been an ugly confrontation. I wonder if that meant that he couldn't wear those shoes he was wearing ever again, or at least for a month or so. Because I wonder if the guy with the hush puppies was kind of hunting every day for his nemesis.
It sounds like it. Wayne, yeah, I mean, Wayne, I think so. But turning out the lights is also pretty baller maneuver. Tom, you said we have another letter?
Yeah, we have another letter from Tom L., who is enjoyed episode 50, which was our momentous extravaganza. It was our 50th episode. We did a remote broadcast from I think the Party City up in Vernon Hills. And Tom sent a letter saying, "Gentlemen, I apologize for being so far behind in my listening, but I just listened to episode 50 and have some feedback. First, the theme song is awesome. No, it's the future of awesome. No, it allows me to awesome more." Nicely done. Now, it's a great send-up of every Broadway musical cliche in the songbook. Kudos to the composer, he said, and yes, that is the Mr. Chris Plansker who wrote that theme. Second, insurance company ads. I think they're so prolific because those companies have a product they can't show and money to burn not showing it. I say they can't show it because the real product, payment on a claim, is not evident until disaster strikes, and they can't promise to come through when it does. Ironically, it's a product that we have to buy but hope never to use. Thirdly, brilliant move to broadcast from a retail store. It's not only conceptually fun, but the trouble you went through shows a commitment to your show. I think you should do this more often. Imagine recording at Hobby Lobby, where you can give us a tour of the, quote, "Don't get lost in our own house" signage aisle, featuring fake old-timey signs that shout kitchen, laundry, and family. Other places like Pep Boys, Home Goods, Trader Joe's, on and on and on. So there, Tom L. Tom enjoyed episode 50.
Yeah, good letter. Thank you,
Yes.
Tom, and thank you for your appreciation of us going to Party City. Tom and Gary had to go to the very top echelons of management of Party City to secure that remote. That's what they call it in the business, that remote recording. We got to know the leadership of Party City, and so I'm glad you appreciated that, Tom.
And we were able to help a few wayward customers during the recording, if I recall. People looking for the confetti aisle,
We did. So there.
We did get one. I was prepared, though, in case we got no mail. We did get one piece of memorable spam. I'll read just the headline of it for you. Burial insurance for as little as $15 a month at burialinsurance.com. Protect your family from crippling debt. There's our dip into the mailbag. Well, Gary, what do you have for us as we dive into episode 52?
Well, Tom, the letter writer Tom L's reference to insurance ads is perhaps a good place to start. So we've talked quite a bit about advertisers' habit, which enrages us, of using nouns as verbs. Family, greatly. I saw another one just the other day. I think it was summer, amazingly. Summer used as a verb. Let's summer, and it kind of related to that. I wanted to talk about advertising words that, if you think about it, don't make any sense. Ad copy that doesn't make any sense. So, Tom, are you familiar with Michelob Ultra commercials?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Michelob Ultra is a beer, and they're usually they market to athletes, so it shows people working out and sweating, and has this amazing gym outfits on, and they look great. They're all good looking, and it's an ad for Michelob Ultra, and their line at the end, which at first glance is innocuous, and if you don't think about it much, it just is every other ad tagline you see. But if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Michelob Ultra's tagline is, "It's only worth it if you enjoy it." It's only worth it if you enjoy it. No, wait a minute. So, right? So you think about it like, wait. Something is only worthwhile if you enjoy it. If I build a house by myself with my bare hands, and I do all the carpentry and the nail work and the studs and the foundation, and some people do that. If I were to do that, I would say that's worth it. Did I enjoy it? Probably not.
Well, to that point, Gary, think about your biannual colonoscopy, all right? You may be one of the few people that actually enjoy them. I don't, but you know what? It's still worth it. It's worth it because it's very important preventative medicine.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not a good example because I kind of do enjoy it. I always say, no, you don't need to use the anesthetic, doc. It's all right. And you know what? I'd kind of like to watch. Leave the camera on. So don't worry about that. But yeah, it's inane. I used to have a creative director when I started at Leo Burnett, who this line isn't quite as senseless, but it was another beer ad Bud did for a long time, Bud Light, I think. And he did these ads. He wrote the line, and even he said, it kind of doesn't make sense. And the line was, "The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it."
Wow. That sent me in like 4 different directions at once.
You remember those ads?
Yeah.
One of them was a football player trying out for the team, a pro football player, and he was a lineman, and he made a good block. And the guy crossed the line, who was a veteran, looked at the little tape on his helmet with the name on it, and looked at him with respect and said, "Croder, huh?" One of the first commercials directed by Joe Pitka, FYI. And then they showed that, and then the line came on, "The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it."
You know what? You've got me until the last part of the line, which I totally don't understand. What does that have to do with the first part of the line? That's why there's nothing else like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as nonsensical as, "It's only worth it if you enjoy it."
Although I would counter and say it's only worth it if you enjoy it. I understand the thought. It's a strange piece of logic, as you pointed out. But the other one, the summary at the end of the line doesn't seem to pay off what came before it in any meaningful way.
Right. Well, Back in the 80s, Tom, a lot of ad people did cocaine. Maybe that's the explanation. So there.
You know, I will kind of tag on to that a little bit because I came across a spot that's running quite a bit now, and it really, it's a commercial they're running for Chevy, and it is, to me, probably the laziest concepts I can think of recently, which is like, if you're totally bereft of any ideas at all, you say, let's do this. Let's license a song and have people sing to it. That's the whole commercial. They licensed the Fleetwood Mac song Everywhere, which is a 35-year-old song, and all they do is cut to different groups of people in the car singing to the song that none of them in the real world would ever be singing to. You know the song Everywhere? Can you hear me calling out your name?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I want to be with you everywhere.
Yeah. And it's just... Good.
I didn't notice they were singing. Are they singing along in that?
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, it's your typical kind of all across America, you know, all ages, all races. The common thread is the 35-year-old Fleetwood Mac song, which was kind of a B-level hit probably for them. It wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was it's a strange selection and just a totally lazy idea. I mean, I guess they just wanted, we just want to show shots of the car driving, you know. But I mean, I don't know.
Well, Chevy Truck likes people. Remember that they like people kind of grooving to the music, singing the music. Remember the commercial a year or two ago that played Queen's song "We Will Rock You"?
Yeah.
And people weren't singing it, but they were clapping along to it.
Oh,
they were
that's
grooving in
right.
the car to it and clapping along to it. And it took me about a dozen views before I understood what they were trying to say, why people in this car were clapping along to the song. And it was a hands-free driving ad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They were clapping. And that thing you just said at the end was the part that I think most people didn't get. It was they were trying to communicate hands-free.
Yeah, that is the last refuge of, when you're bereft of ideas, having people singing. You're right.
You also mentioned noun as verb. There is another one that's out there now, and you've probably seen it for the NFL. This is how you football. I think it's an ad for an NFL app you have on your phone, and you can, I guess, watch highlights or whatever.
I have seen that. Yeah, this is how you football.
This idea has legs that I never, ever imagined 5 years ago that we'd still be talking about it.
And we've been talking about it for a long time, and yet the advertising community persists in continuing to do it. I would think our broad marketing listenership would cause people to go, maybe not present "This is how we football."
So there. I think it's only fair, if we're going to sit here and be very, very critical of other people's advertising, that perhaps we should give back. And I like to give back in a little feature we call You're Welcome. And I haven't bounced this one off you yet, Gary, but I'm curious what you'll think of this. The American Grape Board, right?
There is such a thing?
Well, let's assume there is. There must be some,
Wait, I thought "You're Welcome" was you fixing existing ads.
No, "You're Welcome" is me offering up a free gift to a marketer, an advertiser. It's either fixing or creating. In this case, I think the American Grape Board, or whatever the jurisdiction is that handles the marketing of grapes in this country, I offer them this. Amazing grapes, how sweet the taste. And then I didn't get past that, but I figured there's a start. It's kind of a throwback to the incredible edible egg of the 1970s. Gets in you, doesn't it?
Yeah, they should create a grape board just to make that ad. Perhaps we could create a grape board. We could go to the grape growers and say, you know what you need? A board. And then they'll go, yeah, kind of do need a board. And then we'll say, you know what else you need? An ad where you sing, Amazing Grapes. Tom Karamitis, another pearl of wisdom just explodes from his forehead like Penelope from Zeus.
So there.
Tom, we'd like to occasionally do something where you imagine a life where if you were king, and you were king of the world and you could make all the decisions about the things that people do, you would say this.
I decree.
So if I were king of the world and I would like to decree some things, I have a couple of decrees to make today. One is, came across this on Facebook and a couple of times last week, and they earned the instant snooze for 30 days button, the nuclear option. The nuclear option is unfriending somebody, but it's the DEFCON 2 option of, okay, I don't want to hear from them for 30 days. Boom. It's a button I hit often on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook nearly as much as I used to, but occasionally I look at the news feed and boom, DEFCON 2. So this happened a couple times last week. The habit of people humble bragging, and we're all familiar with humble bragging, but humble bragging about work. So I'll give you a couple examples. One person posted a picture of him on a hammock on a beach. You know, it was one of those shots shot from him, and you can see his feet on the hammock, and there's a beach in the background, and the caption said, "This is my office today."
Was it?
Boom.
You know, I love that.
Snoozed for 30 days.
Do you remember in the go-go 90s when everyone's getting, when all these people in the tech sector were getting rich quickly, there was an investment bank or something that had a tagline at the end that said, "If you're doing rather well," and then I don't remember what the rest of it was, but I just remember cringing at that. Really?
Yeah, it's insufferable. And there was another example, again, last week. It was a producer, and you're a producer, Tom. You would never do this. I hope not. But it was a producer on a job, clearly an exotic place like Hawaii or Maui or something like that, or somewhere, a luxurious beach. There was a picture of the beach, and the caption was, "Yep, location scout almost complete." I think Facebook needs, so DEFCON 2 is snooze them for 30 days. DEFCON 1 is unfriend them. The nuclear option Facebook needs to create is a button that says needs to be killed. That's the button, just needs to be killed. And that would be a message that would be sent to them. That's my idea. For beyond unfriending somebody, they need to be killed. Location scout almost complete.
Or perhaps a less permanent solution is it automatically triggers their tax returns to be audited for the last 7 years. Maybe they're financing some of these trips in kind of a nefarious way. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe we should just kind of double check.
Frank Rodriguez from the Internal Revenue Service, sir. We'd like to talk to you about your location scout. So there.
I also have an
I decree.
And my I decree for today is I want to eliminate a really annoying phrase that's popped into a lot of commercials lately, and that phrase is side hustle. I'd never heard of it.
You'd never heard? Oh, I hate that phrase.
Yeah, I mean, and now all the kind of the cool hip marketers are using it. Oh, it's my side hustle. It just sounds, to me, the phrase just sounds like there's something illicit. To me, hustle, the word hustle to me always kind of meant like, I'm going to kind of, and maybe it's just a bad association I had, but I always thought that the term hustle meant I'm going to kind of rip you off. I'm going to kind of do something that's not quite on the level. So to me, side hustle is, I'm kind of doing this on the side, and don't tell anybody because it's not really, I don't know. I just find the phrase nebulous and annoying at the same time.
Yeah, it's terrible. I hate it. I mean, it used to be called moonlighting, right?
Yeah.
You're moonlighting, you have a second job, making some extra money, right? That's the same concept. Now it's side hustle. My problem with it is a little different from yours. It's the endless American compulsion to work. Like, it's not enough to do your job and to do your job well and all that. No, you have to have a side hustle. Now you got a side hustle to make some more money.
Yeah.
Make some more money, side hustle. The hustle in your own job is not enough. No. Got to have a side hustle.
Right. You're not doing enough unless you have several jobs.
Yeah. It's like the American compulsion of the busyness as a badge. Oh, so busy. Oh, my gosh, so busy. Try to take vacation, can't. Too busy.
Yeah. The whole place would fall apart if I wasn't there,
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing that I would decree, Tom, if I was a king of the world.
I decree.
People need to stop saying frankly and right. People misuse frankly. People will put frankly in front of something that isn't really a frank statement. Like, frankly, it's freezing today on a 10-degree day. Frankly, I'm having a great time. Well, it's not really being frank, right? People misuse that phrase all the time. It's unnecessary. They put frankly in front of thoughts that aren't really frank or aren't really a controversial opinion. If I were to say to you, frankly, Tom, your last haircut was really bad. That's being frank. You're saying something that's tough. Saying like, frankly, this dessert is delicious. It's not being frank. So I would like to decree that stop. And the other thing that I would like to decree that people stop saying is right at the end of sentences. Right? Right? Whatever point you want to make, whatever it is, say right. We all talking to a client, we all know that you need to break your idea, right? And we have a very low budget, right? And so we need to find something that communicates to consumers in a powerful way, right? You hear this a lot. It's like this. Is it a need for affirmation? Is it like a need for what I'm saying is, you agree, right? Right? It seems like that. It's like this, right? It's constant. It's an epidemic in it, and I decree that it needs to stop.
Yeah, because to me it feels more like just kind of an annoying verbal tick. The person probably isn't even aware that they're doing it. I found another thing that I find sometimes in meetings, which is I used to think was passive aggressive, but I think at this point really it's truly aggressive. Is if somebody addresses you by name.
What's wrong with that?
Well, in a meeting, I think the problem we're having here, Gary, is, you know what I'm saying? I know at home, or in a personal conversation, if somebody addresses me by name, they're angry. So I just, it's a little postury to me too. It's a little bit like
a power move.
I think so.
Power move.
Yeah, I'm calling you out. I'm not addressing the room anymore. Gary, that's not the way we look for directors. Okay, we don't call your personal friends. That's not really what's driving this assignment. Okay.
Now, a real power move would be doing all three of those. Like, frankly, Tom, you don't seem to have it together in this production, right?
Nicely done.
Well, Tom, I guess that that about wraps up the episode. I think we've covered a lot of annoyances, a lot of things people really shouldn't be doing, and our work is done here today. So for Tom and Gary,
So there.
there.